Good morning and welcome to our About the Town program. We have featured a number of locations in Waynesboro so far in this program. Today we are pleased to bring to you a recent video of a tour of our library presented by Miss Gina from the Teen Department. This video was shared recently as a part of our Alexander Hamilton Recognition and Celebration program. We hope you enjoy this tour today.
Hello, welcome to our tour of the Alexander Hamilton Memorial Free Library. I'm Gina, I'm the teen librarian, and today's tour will focus on some out-of-the-way nooks and crannies of the library that is not normally visible to the public, along with some historical information along the way. And a big thank you goes out to Todd Dorsett of the Antietam Historical Association, Marie Lancer-Beck, Ann Dubel and Peggy Etter for helping fill in historical information about the library and surrounding area. All right, we're going to be going first into the Nora Roberts reading room. All right, so we're going to start by answering one of the questions that we hear most often, and the answer is no, it's not that Alexander Hamilton. So this is our Alexander Hamilton that our library is named after. And he was a wagon maker and a blacksmith, and he also invested in real estate. He arrived in Waynesboro in 1817, and he married Jane Basore, who the Basore Library is named after. Well, that's her. And he originally bought this house in 1841. The house was built by John Biddinger in 1814, and it originally had 16 rooms. The Hamiltons added the Greek Revival porch, which is still outside our original front door, which is now closed to the public. The Hamiltons' son John was a painter, and he actually painted these portraits of his parents that you can see in the Nora Roberts reading room. And this room, by the way, if you're not familiar, is where you can read magazines and newspapers. Waynesboro has actually had a library since 1893, which went through several different incarnations and was housed in other locations around town. For example, the Waynesboro Circulating Library was founded in 1904 or 1907 and was housed first in a private home and then on the second floor of the Trust Company building on Center Square. The membership fee was $1.25 per year, which later dropped to $1 per year. Weekly memberships were 10 cents. In 1921, the library became a nonprofit organization known as the Waynesboro Free Library, which is why we still have the word free in the library name today. And you can see one of the old book drops here in the front hall. Next, we're going to take a look into the rare books room. This room actually is open to the public. You just have to ask to come in and use it. These books cannot be checked out because of their age, and a lot of our Civil War books that are older are in this room. Okay, and on this shelf we actually have a full set of the official records of the Civil War, which you can read here. These were donated by a local Civil War society. Alexander and Jane Hamilton's granddaughter, Jane Stover Yost, was a member of the old Waynesboro Circulating Library. When she died in 1943, she left this property to the borough of Waynesboro to be the town's public library. First, though, the town needed to do some remodeling. A two-story steel-framed addition on the house's east side designed to hold the weight of the books. Because the steel was impossible to come by during the war years of the 1940s, the library didn't officially open in this building until 1955. Right. All the parts of the library that we've seen so far are part of the old original house, and we're going to see some more of the original house, this time some parts that are not open to the public. So through here are some staff offices and storage area for staff supplies. And we're stepping across the hall now into the business office. All right, so So the Nora Roberts reading room, the rare books room, the staff workroom that we just passed through, and this room, the business office, were all used to be the original children's room of the library before the 2014 renovation. And you can see in a lot of these old rooms, we have the original fireplaces, which are now blocked off. Also, between 2014 and 2019, the rare books room and the staff workroom were offices for director and assistant director. And the business office is where library bills get paid, and it's where we store books that are waiting to be cataloged, and it's also staff offices. All right, now we're gonna get a sneak peek of another off-limits area of the library. This is the staff break room. Come on in. So the staff break room was also part of the original house, and on the 1953 plan of the house, just before the building was turned into a library, this room is labeled as the historical Dutch kitchen. And this staff locker area right over here, this whole thing was actually a huge kitchen fireplace, and you can still see the mantle above it today. Over here in the corner where the sink is now, this actually used to be the back stairs that the servants would use. And when we get upstairs, I'll show you where those stairs would have come out. All right, so the door from the staff break room actually used to lead outside. This was the original exterior wall of the house, and these are the original windows. And this little hallway where we're standing right now used to be a porch. And this hook is actually where they used to hang a hammock in the early days of the library. Right now we're coming out in front of the library circulation desk, and this is where you would come to check out books or return books if you're not using the book drop. And in 1987, the library bought the McLeary home, which was once located on the library's east side, and they demolished it in order to add a new adult wing. So that wing is right here. So this is now the children's room, but it used to be the adult fiction area. In 2014, the library added on even more, and this was thanks to a generous bequest from Mr. Donald Neri. And the 2014 renovation took place in the library's courtyard. So the library's courtyard, where Martha's Garden is now, actually used to be much larger, and it contained a summer kitchen from back in the old days. This summer kitchen was carefully taken apart and was reconstructed at Renfrew. Here we are at the library's current front door. This part of the library was part of the 1987 edition, though it did look a little bit different at the time. The big glass wall between the lobby and the teen room was not here. And in fact, the circulation desk used to be where the teen room is today. And the teen librarian office, which is my office, actually used to be a staff kitchen and bathroom. Hello, we lost a bit of our footage here, so refilming a sneak peek inside the book drop and inside the back basement staircase. Alright, so here we are at the book drop. And that is where the books come in, and they land on top of this thing here. And we just pull it out and take the books out. Okay, right now we are still in the front lobby area where the book drop and the spinning wheel are. And we're about to go through that doorway right there and into a stairwell which is off limits to the public. It has a stairwell going up and another one going down into the basement, which is our next stop. I'm going to tell you a little bit about it out here because there is a heater inside that stairwell that has started making a terrible noise. So it's too loud in there. So this stairwell that we're about to go into is where the two-story steel-framed addition was added in 1954-1955. Before the 2014 renovation, this staircase going down into the basement did not exist. This area was actually a hallway where the Friends book sale books were kept. And the director's office was also in here, where this stairwell is right now. There's also a safe in there, which is where the library used to keep its money, though not anymore. And the new modern staircase that you're seeing the beginning of right now used to be an old rickety staircase going up to the second and third floors. So the space that is now the modern second floor used to be 2 floors, second and third. Those second and third floors housed the adult nonfiction and the magazines. So this was the 1955 steel-framed edition, like I mentioned, and before 2014, these steel beams were still visible inside this staircase. There was also a dumbwaiter here to help staff get materials up to the second and third floors. So now let's head right in. So before 2014, this boarded over window at the foot of the basement stairs used to be a window in the director's office. So it was boarded up fairly recently, actually. Alright, so this little slanting alcove area here, this used to be the outside entrance to the basement, which was located in the courtyard outside. And there were slanting cellar doors in the courtyard prior to the 2014 addition. Alright, so this big open area here was the original basement or cellar. And this is actually where the Friends of the Library keep books that have been sorted for the book sale. This little area here, lined in cinder blocks, was probably cut for the 2014 edition to give them a space for the new plumbing. This opening here was probably a window in the original house that is now covered over. And now we're heading into the creepiest part of the basement.
And here we are.
So this little nook is probably yet another window that was closed over, a window from the original house, and we're looking at the original stone walls here. This actually looks like the base of a chimney from further upstairs. And over here, probably yet another old window. And this is something that people talk about a lot. So this little wood-lined tiny little nook is actually the opening to a tunnel, and this tunnel led out into the old summer kitchen in the courtyard. So the rumor has it that this tunnel was somehow involved in the Underground Railroad. And according to the Antietam Historical Society, though, Underground Railroad activity was unlikely in downtown Waynesboro because loyalties in the area were divided. Underground Railroad activity in the area mostly stuck close to the mountains. Many old places in central Waynesboro have what appears to be tunnels leading from their basements. Professionals who have examined them believe that they are not caves or natural tunnels, but man-made extensions of the cellars. Apparently, some of them were connected to each other, and there are old stories of how pies put in the cellar to cool would disappear. Some believed that town boys were roaming the tunnels and stealing the pies, though there is no confirmation of this. According to the Antietam Historical Association, local old histories mention the downtown tunnels, but they don't explain them, and they never ascribe them to Underground Railroad activity. So it remains a mystery. All right, another interesting side note is that the northeast part of town, so North Broad Street, Burns Hill, Mount Airy Avenue, is supposedly above a large subterranean lake. And this was explored and then sealed off at some point. There used to be at least one small stream flowing across East Main Street at the base of Burns Hill. And when that dried up, people suspected that the underground lake had also dried up, but nobody knows for sure. And thanks again to the Antietam Historical Association for providing this interesting information. All right, so we're now going up the original basement stairs. So this is how inhabitants back in Alexander Hamilton's day would have gotten down into the basement or cellar. So this door right here is the door they would have used. And we normally keep this padlocked, so we'll show you where this comes out. So this is where the door normally comes out, which is right under the original staircase. So we're gonna head up the original staircase now. All right, so we're heading up the old staircase. In here is the adult nonfiction section. And this room is called the Civil War room because it used to house our Civil War books, which are now down in the rare books room. And across the hall is our adult biography section. All right, this is our adult biography section, and we're going to walk through here into the Pennsylvania room. All right, here we're taking a look at the Pennsylvania room, which includes genealogy information, family histories, graveyard records, and funeral home records for those that like to do research about genealogy and local history. All right, we're going to pass through into the conference room, and you'll see yet another one of these old original fireplaces, which is now closed off. All right, here we are in the current director's office, and I remember I told you that I would show you where those old stairs came up, the back servant stairs from the kitchen, and this is where the old servant stairs would come up in that little area there. And this room where we currently are used to be the Librarians Quarters back in the old days, so the librarian did actually live above the library. All right, so here we are in the hallway outside the director's office, which used to be part of a librarian's quarters. And you can see that this is the original brick wall of the exterior of the building. And you can see the original windows, and up here, here's yet another one of these little, downstairs it was a hook, now it's a loop. So maybe they even had a hammock on the second floor of the porch. It was a 2-level porch. And we're gonna take a look in another behind the scenes area. This is the server room. And this room actually used to be a bathroom. And across the hall was another bathroom, which I believe was also part of the old librarian's quarters. Okay, right now we're in the newest part of the library. So this is where we keep our adult fiction section. We have a regular fiction collection and several genre collections like mystery, Christian fiction, science fiction, fantasy, westerns, and romance. Alright, now we are still in the new part of the building. We're standing right outside our kitchen, which is newly renovated. We just got a new stove and microwave, and we do have cooking programs up here from time to time. Also, we have our gallery up here, which is a rotating gallery, so you'll see different things at different times. And also up here we have our community room, where we have events, larger events with larger groups. And this gallery system was actually supported by our Friends of the Library group. So now to finish up our tour, we're going to backtrack to another off-limits area of the library, which is the attic. We're going to take a look in each side. That side's really bright right now because the sun's shining in it. All right, and here's the other half of the attic. This half is surprisingly neat compared to the other half. We could have a pool party up here. We're heading outside to show you a quick view of the courtyard, but on the way, here's our maker space. This is still fairly new within the past couple years. We have a bunch of equipment in here that people can use to work on projects such as 3D printer, laser cutter, Cricuts, etc. Lots of sewing supplies, crafting supplies, electronics, robotics, and we do have programs in here for kids, teens, and adults. You can also come in to use this space on your own time to work on projects if you already know how to use the equipment. Here's our courtyard, which used to be much bigger before this 2014 addition was added. The millstone is not original to this property. It was part of a collection of millstones that was donated to the library. And over here we have Martha's Garden, which is going to look beautiful in spring and summer. And the kids love to visit with Martha over there on the bench sometimes when they come visit. All right, thanks for joining us on our behind the scenes library tour. What did you think? Did you have any questions that we didn't cover? Let us know and enjoy your library. Bye.